Whoa, this big one. Freaky. And it's biting.
Yep, that's me. You might be wondering how I got myself into this predicament.
Ah!
Well, in order to tell the story, we'll need to do a bit of a rewind. Welcome to my first travel experience in Japan, where I spent 13 days exploring this hyper-eclectic country, discovering a mix of traditional and modern culture, along with my boyfriend who also doubles as my personal videographer, Aaron. We dove headfirst into the bustling, organised chaos that is Japan's capital city, Tokyo. First things first, let's establish our base. We stayed at a really nice hotel in Shinjuku called Onsen Ryokan Yuen, and considering the stereotype of Tokyo being this busy metropolitan capital, I was pleasantly surprised by this ryokan, serenely nestled between apartment blocks and only a 15-minute walk from the station. Hello, this is my hotel room. It's tiny. Look at my little socks. This is the shower. It's tiny. And here's the bed. Once settled into our hotel, it was time to venture out into the wild and explore.
Pork, egg, and soy sauce.
This is the first of many convenience store onigiris I consume on this trip.
The runny egg.
Once my taste buds were adequately satisfied, it was time to figure out how to get around this huge city. We decided to get the Suica card, just for the convenience of jumping on any form of public transport in Tokyo and not having to worry about what line the JR Pass covers. I highly recommend this if you're planning to do a few days here, just to eliminate any stress.
It's a little Muji in the vending machine. They have sunscreen wipes. Is it like sunscreen that you just wipe on?
After walking around and doing a bit of shopping around Shinjuku, it was time for lunch.
Getting our first coffees of the day. They gave us the menu, it's all in Japanese, and we were struggling with like Google Lens trying to figure it out, and then the guy came with an English menu, a special version with English in it, so very appreciated. Can't wait. What did I get? I got this tomato cream omu rice doria with shrimp and mozzarella. Now I've seen people be eating this on the TikToks, so I'm gonna be eating it on the TikToks. I'm happy.
Stomachs full, we explore Shinjuku a little more. Our first night ended with us joining an Izakaya food tour in Shinjuku. I had booked this prior to arrival on TripAdvisor. It was a bit expensive, 175 Australian dollars per person, but I figured it would be a nice way to introduce ourselves to Japan on a more local level and also get some tips from the tour guide. And I'm really glad we did it.
This place is so pretty.
The tour first brought us through the narrow alleys of Golden Gai, lined with tiny bars. And then we popped out onto a busy street and saw Godzilla towering over us. It was then time for our first meal stop of the tour.
They actually only use really, really good quality beef, so it's very, very juicy but not too greasy. And then they also have their own secret recipe katsu sauce. So it's kind of like, what is it, KFC's 11 herbs and spices or whatever they use. So if you want to go ahead and dig in, grab some tonkatsu.
Hey.
Oh, do you want it?
Standard, so I think people would just appreciate any kind of effort.
That's really nice.
Don't worry about it.
Tonkatsu.
I love that sauce as well. Is that what it's called?
Tonkatsu, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Tonkatsu is great. We just have a question about the language. Do you say arigato gozaimasu as a thank you?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Great.
Arigato by itself is more like casual. So like if I was with my friends, I'd be like, oh, arigato.
Yeah.
But when you're meeting somebody for the first time, you're supposed to be like a little bit more polite. So arigato gozaimasu is the right way to do it if you're in a restaurant or something.
Okay.
After the delicious tonkatsu appetizer and a basic lesson in Japanese from our guide, it was time to continue on with our izakaya food tour. At the next place, we were treated with a selection of sake poured in these little cups that blossom when you pour liquid into them. I loved these little cups so much that I actually ended up buying a set as a souvenir.
Kanpai!
Okay, so I'm a bit of a lightweight. After my third little cup of sake, I was already red. Luckily, we had some delicious bites, so I wasn't totally wasted before making it to our next stop, which specializes in seafood. Please enjoy this clip of me eating a prawn that's almost as red as my face. And next on the menu,
Crab brains.
I can't remember what this dish is, but I remember everyone was making a huge fuss about it. So if anyone knows, please leave it in the comments.
Not a lot, no.
There's no taste really.
It was not really that much.
I can't taste anything.
So this is our last izakaya of the evening. This place is called Dandadan, which is really fun to say 10 times if you've had a lot of drinks. But it actually comes from the sound of the Japanese drum, so like dun 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 dun. And they are famous for their pork dumplings or their gyoza, so we're going to go in and try some very, very juicy, freshly made, because they actually hand wrap them here every day, freshly made gyoza. So let's.
At our final izakaya, we tried Hoppy, a beer-flavored, almost non-alcoholic drink.
Tastes like a beer.
We definitely ended on a high. The food here was so delicious. My favorite were these stuffed chicken wings. Literally a chicken wing stuffed like a dumpling. And just like that, the izakaya tour was over and our first night in Tokyo concluded. Well rested and ready to tackle a scorching day, we started off with the breakfast of champions at CoCo Curry. There are so many delicious options to choose from, but I ended up choosing the handmade tonkatsu curry with cheese. And oh my gosh, look how yummy this looks. Topped it up with CoCo Curry's secret sauce, and the first bite was pure bliss.
So good. There's so much ghee.
Seriously, look at all that cheese. Our mission for the rest of the day was to find the best view overlooking the city of Tokyo. Our search inevitably led us to Tokyo's SkyTree, which is apparently the tallest tower in the world, standing at 634 meters. We pre-purchased tickets to go up to the 350th floor, the Tembo deck. The view here did not disappoint. Not bad, Tokyo. Not bad. Next on the list, visiting the Pokemon Center, of course. Here I was texting my brother asking what my nephew's favourite Pokemon was. I was hoping it'd be something popular like Charmander, but his favourite was a water type called Inteleon. Huh? Never heard of it. The new generation, eh? I was on the lookout for Inteleon, searching high and low, but alas, this Inteleon Pokemon was nowhere to be found. I almost wanted to buy myself a Cyndaquil. Look how cute it is! Unfortunately, no Pokemon was caught that day. Japan. It's a country known for many things, and one of them is cameras. Let me tell you, we spent a lot of time browsing camera stores around Japan. Aaron is a bit of a camera nerd, so this was the compromise for me dragging him around the places I wanted to go. But I didn't mind. Oh, how the tables have turned. I am now Aaron's videographer. After browsing cameras all morning, it was time to make our way to one of the most iconic tourist must-dos in Tokyo, the Shibuya Scramble. We bought tickets to enter Shibuya Sky so we could see the famous crossing from up above.
Wow, that's a far way to fall.
It was an absolute scorcher of a day, and the top of Shibuya Sky offers no relief whatsoever when it comes to shade. But we persevered because the views overlooking the city were phenomenal. Even though Tokyo's SkyTree is the tallest tower in the world, I personally preferred my experience more at Shibuya Sky.
Down there.
Walking across Shibuya Crossing is already chaotic in itself. Just imagine walking backwards trying to capture the experience, which is basically what Aaron did here.
I can't, everything's opposite.
I was so worried he was going to bump into someone, so my face never quite looked natural.
Behind you. Stop.
He really risked it for the biscuit. I think we crossed this crossing at least 4 times, trying to get every shot and every angle. One of the things I wanted to bring back from Japan as a souvenir were vinyls, and conveniently there was a multi-level record store close to Shibuya Crossing.
Oh my god, I found a vinyl of J-Hope in the box. I take that. And I'm going a little bit insane because it's my boy, the BTS in Japan. And it's like affordable in comparison to like Australia. I don't know what to do with myself.
Despite wanting to buy the entire BTS discography, I managed to restrain myself. After all, I only had so many kilos I could take back to Australia. I decided to be selective about my vinyl choices.
I got Ryuichi Sakamoto. I got this Japanese dude. Don't know who he is, but it was on the recommended, so we got him. We got another recommended, and we got the Final Fantasy soundtrack. Good purchase.
Okay, thanks for indulging in my record purchases. Now, onto something a little more interactive and utterly cute. Yep, that's right, otters. There are a ton of animal cafes in Tokyo, and I was tossing up between micro pigs and otters, and as you can see, the otters won my heart. I know there are a lot of questions around the ethics of animal cafes, but I did my research and to the best of my knowledge, Harajuku, which is the animal cafe we went to, seem to treat their animals decently. There's an outdoor area where the otters can frolic in water, and here I am feeding them through this tiny little hole. I was super excited to touch their squishy little hands. Along with the entry fee, I also paid to spend some quality time in the playpen with the otters, so I could get up close and personal.
How was that?
Oh, I had otters all over me. Oh. Happy. Otters.
In addition to otters, Harajuku also has hedgehogs and chinchillas that you can interact with.
Oh, babe, it's so soft. It's like so soft.
We're well and truly into the thick of our time in Tokyo, and it's time to try Japan's famous Ichiran Ramen. This restaurant is like an introvert's dream. There's very little interaction with staff. All you have to do is order your ramen from the machine, and then they give you a sheet where you can circle your preferences for things like stock flavor, level of garlic, chili, and so on.
I'm ready for some ramen.
There's also a seating chart so you can see what seats are available, and then you get taken to individual booths like this. Here I am, poised and ready with my camera and phone to capture the moment the blinds open and my ramen comes out.
お先にこちらになります。
ありがとうございます。
お待たせいたしました。
ありがとうございます。
お願いします。
Oh my god, that's so good.
Honestly, it was absolutely delicious. And watching this footage back makes me crave it so much. I absolutely demolished the entire bowl. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Bellies full of ramen, we need to relax and digest. And what better way to do that than by visiting another animal cafe? This time we went to a dog cafe called Inu Cafe Rio, and I just about died when I saw they had sausage dogs.
Ready to touch the doggies.
There were all kinds of breeds of dogs at this cafe, but I have to be honest with you. About 5 minutes in, this cream dachshund got put onto my lap, and that's pretty much where I stayed for the entire hour we had booked here. I had just succumbed to the fact that this was my dog now.
Oh, this is the best day of my life. Yeah. Can I take this one home? Can I take this back to my new apartment? Is that possible? No, I can't. I'll just put it in my pocket. Do you want some love and affection too?
While my new dog and I were getting settled, Aaron also got a dog of his own. An honourable mention to this one, this little white fluff ball that took a particular liking to him. Little did Aaron know that when he came back, he would find me inundated with dogs.
Anyways, so this is my life now. I'm just gonna be the lord of all these dogs.
Our time at the dog cafe was coming to an end, so I decided to go and say hello to some other dogs.
Take them home with me.
I could have stayed at the cafe for the whole day, but there's more places to go and things to see. The next thing on our to-do list was to have a drink at one of the many small bars in Golden Gai. We settled for this Western style bar called Unlimited, mostly because it was the only one that didn't look packed. But upon reflection, I think Aaron and I wish we had chosen a more smaller, traditional one. But nevertheless, we had a really nice time and the nacho chips were tasty.
Hey babe. Cheers.
We didn't really do much else that day because it was raining, but that's okay because it let us rest for what would be a pretty big last day in Tokyo.
Thank you.
It's our final day in Tokyo, and what a day it turns out to be! Our goal was to visit some of the most iconic landmarks, including Sensoji, Tokyo's oldest Buddhist temple. Knowing that we had a full day of walking ahead of us, we needed our morning coffee, which incidentally led us to a cat cafe in the area.
Where are you from?
Australia.
Australia.
Even though I'm more of a dog person and I'm also allergic to cats, I really enjoyed our little stop at this cat cafe. The food we ordered here was simple. We ordered some crepes and coffee that hit the spot just right.
There's a cat on his shoulder.
After our coffee and cat fix, it was time to make our way to Sensoji, and as we were walking around, we noticed there were a lot of people dressed up in traditional clothing, and every now and then what I now have learnt is that mikoshi would come parading by. It was honestly a case of being at the right place at the right time. We stumbled upon one of the 3 largest Shinto festivals, called Sanja Matsuri, that was taking place that weekend. Sanja Matsuri honors the 3 men who established and founded the Sensoji Buddhist temple, and honestly, I had no idea that this festival was happening when we were putting together our itinerary. So it was a lovely and unexpected cultural experience. As you can see, there were a lot of people, but we maneuvered through the crowd, getting closer to the temple. Outside the temple, there was a place to draw your fortune for 100 yen. You then shake a hexagonal tin, and then a stick comes out with the number of your fortune.
What number is that?
Then you find a drawer with that number.
Alright, I just got my fortune pulled out and it says I got good fortune. Yay!
In a nutshell, the cloudy sky will become clearer, things that have troubled me will fade away, and my wishes will be realized. I think what got me though was that it mentioned something about building a new house, which is funny because just before this trip, I had gotten the keys to my newly built apartment back in Sydney. Coincidence? Who knows? We finally made our way inside the main hall of the temple where people were praying and making a wish.
Got a coin in my hand, I'm gonna throw it in and make a wish.
After that, it was time to say goodbye to this crazy festival that we had chanced upon and make our way to the next landmark, the Imperial Palace. We wanted to see the Edo Castle, but unfortunately, by the time we got there, it was too late and had already closed, so we just walked around the palace gardens. So much walking! It's time to feed our bellies. We went to a restaurant called Tofuro in Ginza. Originally, I wanted to go to the restaurant next door called Sushi no Midori, but the line was so long. So just a bit of advice, if you're a foodie and want to go to the popular restaurants, make sure to book in advance. Even though the food here was good, it was really overpriced and I don't think it was worth it. Out of everything we ate on our trip, I would rank it at the bottom. But I do believe Ginza is the most expensive district of Tokyo. And with this final piece of sushi, we've wrapped up the Tokyo leg of our Japan trip. Upon reflection, I really enjoyed Tokyo. I love the mix of modern and traditional culture, and there was always something to do or see. If there's one thing I've taken away from this, it's that I wish there were dog and cat cafes in Australia. I think it's just so nice to have a place where you can play with animals, especially if you don't have the capacity to own your own pet. Stay tuned for the rest of the videos in my Japan series. Next stop, we'll be visiting the scenic mountain town of Hakone, a much needed escape from the bustle of the city. We'll also be spending a few days in the more traditional city of Kyoto, doing a day trip to Nara, and exploring another big city, Osaka. Until then, thanks for watching!